What's going on, guys? Thanks so much for joining us. We've got Lia Chambers, aka Leah, just like Prince, and then I've got Matt Marinoff. Obviously, you know me. I'm the chief engineer of Engineer Supplies over at Real Estate Recovery Group, and this is our first live stream at night. And the purpose for the live streams at night are for us to actually dive deep, no holes bars, and we're really going to go deep on how these people are basically not explaining the situations to homeowners, and it's very obviously disturbing of what's going on. And we just want people to understand. Look, it's not even a question of staying in your lane. It's really more or less a question of understanding the lane that you're in, because we're not going to stop somebody from being educated or basically talking about how amazing they can or can't be at short sales, but at least find out the information. Please, for the love of God, make sure it's correct, because we are getting a ton of feedback from real estate agents and or homeowners and or investors that are basically saying to us that files are dying, they're not being set up correctly, they're going into contract prior to they really need to go through as far as the timeline with whoever the investor is, which is 7 to 15 days. So really the purpose of tonight is to really dive deep. And I'm going to set up the link. So if somebody wants to come on and they actually want to, share their 2 cents, they can do it. Now, you would actually come on, you'd be on backstage. There's no guarantee we'll make you to come on stage, because obviously we're only doing this is only a 1-hour show. So if you don't get on, please don't get upset. And if we don't pick you, it's nothing personal. But this is something that we're adding to the shows going forward, because I feel like people want to get in and they want to actually voice their opinion. But obviously you can voice your comments. We're going to be posting comments and stuff like that. And we're going to make it very super easy for people to understand in this episode what we're offering, as far as showing people, you can't put someone in a situation unnecessarily where you're faking it till you're making it with distressed sellers. My co-host tonight, my driving force, my work wife, Lia Chambers, who actually looks like she's 14 years old now, is going to add her 2 cents, and she's going to give you a little bit of an update of what we've been going through as far as leads that are coming in, and then we're going to address some of the issues with banks and stuff like that. So, Lia, without further ado, take it over.
Hi, guys. He's really going to do this to me. So, well, where do you want to start, Matt? Because it's been, you guys have to excuse me. I was just telling my husband I look tired as hell. And he's like, your makeup's hiding it. So,
I don't know what that means, but at the end of the day, you look great.
I'm tired.
You've got amazing lighting. You've got a beautiful glow. I hope it's not that glow, because that would be very disturbing. Fingers crossed. So basically, Lia, tell people what we're finding right now as far as, well, let's use an example. Let's talk about the call that we were on last night at 9:40 at night with the real estate agent, and people not understanding what they need to do as far as the follow through, as far as doing a short sale.
So last night we received, like Matt said, a phone call from an agent who came in as the second agent on the transaction. The previous agent wasn't able to finish the process for whatever reason. I'm assuming the same common denominator that I figured last night. But this agent came in, has a cash buyer ready to close. Bank did an appraisal. There's a short sale. There's an attorney that has considered himself a short sale specialist who just so happens to also be in public office, which is a topic I'll discuss at a later point, not tonight for sure, because I want to make sure that I have all my references and ducks in a row before I start bringing that out on the table. But long story short, bank did a value. Value came in at $50,000 more than what the offer is. Bank's stressing that the FMV is at that $450,000 figure. The downside is that the bank sent their foreclosure attorney to do the value, not a licensed appraiser. It's a federal credit union. I'll leave it at that. And so when I asked the agent if the attorney was disputing the value, she said that he has had a discussion with the bank, and the bank is standing firm. And I'm like, but I said, what about your repair estimate? What about your comps? All the things that I say like a broken record. And she says, no, we haven't done any of that. And I said, no one's questioned why a licensed appraiser hasn't gone. And she says, no one's questioned it. They just this is the amount of money they want, and my buyer probably won't go up. So I was a little flabbergasted. Gave the agent some information to see what could be done. I actually need to try and reach out to the homeowner after this call with tonight to kind of give her some ease of mind and what to expect going forward. But it's a real simple process, and just there's some like red flags that aren't being questioned, and that's concerning, honestly. So that's how my night ended last night, to say the least, for work. Did you die?
So basically, we have a situation where, there's a homeowner who's in sheer panic. They're wondering, really, like, what can they do? What should they do to help themselves? And right off the bat, I'm going to walk away from the house. I don't care. Maybe they'll do a deed in lieu, not do a deed in lieu. Like, guys, we're dealing with people on a national level, and it's frightening to hear that real estate agents are saying we can do a deed in lieu. We're gonna guarantee you 15,000. We're gonna guarantee this. Stop saying the word guarantee. We understand you want to get a listing, but saying a guarantee and you can't follow up with that, and sure as shit, you tell somebody to not make a mortgage payment. Like, I am truly blown away that people are actually doing this. Why would somebody say to somebody to stop making a mortgage payment? Leah, why don't we talk about when somebody misrepresentation as far as telling somebody, okay, don't make your mortgage payment. What type of barrier what kind of trouble can somebody actually get into from telling somebody to stop making their mortgage payment?
I mean, it's a violation. You can't tell a mortgager to purposely stop paying their mortgage payments in order to qualify for a loss amount option, because you're putting them in borrower's harm. You're putting them in harm's way. Should an investor or servicer find out that you, as an attorney or a licensed real estate agent or a licensed negotiator, head counselor, what have you, if they find out that you're doing this, you can be subject to those fines and brought forth in a suit and have to pay damages in the amount of the mortgage in its entirety and then some. So I don't do it.
So we have obviously various different situations that pop up, and we're probably going to put the top 10 in the book that we have coming out. But, just to give you an example, we have somebody who was told, stop paying your mortgage, going to guarantee you X amount of money. The property was listed grossly over what the actual value of the property was. And I can tell you this flat out because the bank actually came in with a much lower number than the actual dollar amount, to the tune of about $130,000 difference when they did a price drop. Now, if the property was listed for 6 months, they brought a buyer in, and the listing agent was the one that said, hey, we should list it at X. And then after 6 months, there was nothing, brought somebody in, made it, I think, $140,000 lower payment. It's like, well, hold on a second. Why are you dropping it that fast? You're the person who came out and said the property is worth X amount of money. So obviously we run into situations like that. And then there's a question of inspections that have to be done on the property. And not being able to offer an inspection to a homeowner and basically say, hey, there's a huge problem with, let's say, something like a septic system, or they found an oil tank, whatever it is, and you're not willing to give that report to the seller of the property to show them that there's an issue with it, knowing that that person's been maintaining the property properly over the last 10 years that they've been in the property. This person didn't even have to go late on their mortgage, but they were instructed to go late by the real estate agent. And we were brought in because things were not done right. And the value came in severely lower than what the actual listing was, but higher than what the actual offer was. So it's like a game. So guys, you got to be careful. This is not 2008 anymore. You know, they're looking at things a little bit more closely than they did before. Now, granted, Leah, it is a pain in the ass right now because of the skeleton crews that they have at the banks. Whereas if they had 30 people on the floor, now they might only have 9 people on the floor. So it is taking a smidge longer with that. But we're closing deals. We have deals lined up for closing. But the main issue is that we're having is that they have county issues and running the title, getting the final rundowns, finding out about the judgments. The attorneys aren't in the office; they have to reference files. Not every attorney is online. Not every attorney works. I mean, geez, some of these attorneys have Google Doc sheets that they run off of. And that's it. Like some attorneys actually don't have real systems, so it's harder to work with somebody that is not hip in the game and has the information that we need readily available. So that's a pain in the ass too. Leah, what are we looking at as far as files? What are you finding? What's the buzz on the street with some of the closings? What's the main issues why the majority of our closings have gotten pushed out?
Well, so the number one has been the buyers being scared about the downturn in the market for the investors. Right. The retail buyers have been more of the lenders taking too long. So I have a retail buyer now that with the approval was issued today officially. I actually have to send the approval email out to all parties again after our conference. But the lender, it's an attorney state, so the lender has an attorney, and the lender's attorney wasn't going to speak to the buyers until the 27th of April. Mm-hmm. Luckily, that's Monday, Tuesday, so that's no big deal. But had this approval been issued originally, like it should have been a month ago, mm-hmm. we would be in dire straits because I only have 45 days to close. So, and most lenders' attorneys want 30 days or then some. So, it's kind of a mixture of everything. I've only had one closing where it's being postponed because of the COVID-19, because seller's party is immunocompromised, and the title company and again the lender's attorney is insistent on a table closing no matter what. Like they won't do a mail away, they won't do it in the parking lot. They want everyone to come into a conference room. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much the top 3 reasons right now.
So what are we saying in situations like that when we can't do it?
When we can't push it out?
Yeah.
I have to let everybody know that if we don't have this resolved, which we actually have a file that happened to, my homeowner that most of you guys have heard about, that the property preservation team broke into the house and they stole her husband's ashes. We have a buyer who just didn't sign off on a final rider to extend the closing date. And now, because of that, the bank said, well, we're going to close the file and you have to start all over again, which means this will be the 4th buyer, which means this will be the 4th appraisal. I'm lucky that my seller is understanding. However, the bank that we're dealing with isn't quite so forgiving. So I don't know how many more times we have, because I know that this investor has already told us that it's a 2 and done situation. So I'm worried that the investor is going to come back and tell me that they no longer qualify for short sale review because we've been through the rodeo now 3 times, and this will be time number 4. So we'll see.
What are the banks? What's the buzz on the street with talking to the banks, and obviously the issues with COVID-19? Are they being more willing to work with us and be more gracious and help, or they're like, listen, get it done and we're closing it?
Some banks are like, let's push this through, go, we need to get this done, and they're flying through it a lot quicker than normal.
Mm-hmm.
Some banks are forcing people into forbearances,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. And some banks are kind of just taking their sweet ass time. So kind of depends.
So it's a little bit of a mix.
Yeah, most definitely.
So this is obviously is a very hard time, for homeowners that are questioning, is their house going to get foreclosed?
Okay.
When is it going to get foreclosed? Let's give them some insight of really what's going on right now from the inside, from the representatives that we're talking with banks. What are they giving us as far as updates, as far as, the foreclosures?
Well, you gonna rephrase that question for me? Like, what do you like? What in specific is this kind of broad?
Well, they put a freeze, right?
Mm-hmm.
April, May, June.
Right, July 1 for the moratorium.
What's going on July 1?
So July 1, the moratorium for foreclosure protection is supposed to be lifted nationwide. However, it may be a review point, or it may actually get lifted sooner. We're not 100% sure right now. There
Mm-hmm.
are some states, in specific the state that Will and I live in, our stay-at-home orders expire May 8th, and actually some of you guys know that I have a part-time job doing working for a furniture company as a loan officer for, borrowing money to buy beds and sofas and stuff. The store called me today and said, "Hey, we're going back to work May 8th, so can you come in?" I'm like, no. So, we'll see what happens. I have a feeling that with these states that are opening up, we're gonna probably have another high curve, and the moratorium will get extended. I just don't know.
So is it possible, based on your position with the furniture company, that they would actually allow you to review applications?
From home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, it's a sign of times.
Right.
So many people are upset because can't show properties. The majority of the people that I'm talking to right now that are upset about not showing properties are the people that are technically challenged. Like if I
Right.
was a real estate agent, I would have to be 10 years younger because of the fact that the technology that the younger generation is aware of. I mean, obviously, I would have somebody do it. But as far as, offering other types of services. Now, for me, I don't like to waste time. You know my personality. So for me, I would say, look, if you're interested in a property, super. Here's 15 virtual tours of 15 different properties, COVID-19 or not. Let me know which one looks appealing to you. And then we'll go look at it. So the agents that are aware of it and know the properties that are vacant that can be shown and yada, yada, yada. I mean, look, they're selling real estate. So when I hear a real estate agent hemming and hawing on how they're not making money and they can't sell properties or even rentals, why would you not want to show a rental property? If the property is vacant, right? I would think that'd be some quick money where people, they need a place to live. Not everybody's out of work.
I think so. I had a couple of agents tell me recently that like the NJAR is in specific Jersey. There there's some mixed signals. I mean, you guys they were deemed essential 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but you still have some brokerages that are like, you cannot show. I know Keller Williams was big on that. No offense to any of my KW agents, but I know that there was a memo that I got forwarded saying that you can't show properties. You can't write contracts. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of intense. I know that some of my Commonwealth states are running into that issue. They can't even draft a contract. They can't even go up on the MLS. Some of the MLSs have blocked them from listing. So, I mean, I guess it's going to kind of depend on what state by state. But those states that are open, like here in Missouri, it balls to the wall. They're listing and advocating. I actually had somebody knock on my door asking me if I wanted to put my home up for sale, and I was like, no. I'm not in distress. I'm perfectly okay and I like my house. So thanks, but no thanks. So
So there's people commenting on other sites. Miss Shalina is saying, "Drink more water, Hammer.
Yeah, I see that.
You guys both kick ass." Doug Paul said, "Thanks, Matt." And Eminem. We got trophies on this one, so that's good.
Cool.
Look, this thing is obviously going to be broken up. We're working on a couple of different things. We're working on doing a podcast, which we're going to take the audio out of these videos and we're going to put them out there for people so they can listen, on their. Does anybody even have an iPod anymore? Does that even exist? Or no?
No, I don't think so.
So on their regular phones or what have you. The information that we're going to be bringing on Tuesdays and Thursday nights is more or less going to be updates that are coming up in the market. We're going to be bringing in special guests like tonight. We're trying it out. We have that link up there. If anybody wants to jump on and they want to add some value to conversation and they know what they're talking about, by all means, take that link, put it in your browser, click on it, come on, put it on your phone. Make sure that you're not going to get phone calls and get dropped off. This is all about the nighttime calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are going to be going forward. Yes, I know tonight is Friday. Because we want to be able for people to understand that there's a place where they can go Tuesdays and Thursday nights and say, hey, you know what? On Monday, I heard X, Y, and Z. All right, cool. I can catch it Tuesday. Wednesday, I could be, oh my God, you know what? Oh, no worries. I could ask Lee and Matt on Thursday. Friday, you gotta wait till Tuesday, or you could private message us, or you could put a question on the, whatever it is that we're talking about, prior to the day before. So tonight, there's no script. We're basically just on here talking and answering questions. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any concerns about properties that they have right now, where the sellers or the buyers are not willing to list a property, or they're panicked and maybe they don't want to sell the property anymore? Any questions at all would be accepted. Don't feel like we're not willing to work with you guys. Oh, here's a good question. Hold on.
Open houses or anything about not running construction for offices. I'm sorry, I'm like reading to myself. It says actually, Keller Williams, you're not allowed to host open houses. I haven't heard anything about not writing contracts. We're not opening up our offices, but we can work remote. In New York, they're not allowed to do anything. Right. So the agent that I received the KW email from actually is from Suffolk County in New York. And then I have a couple agents that told me they cannot, on Jersey side, they can't do the same. They can't do open houses and they can't, not that list name list, but they can't write contracts, which I think it goes based on the broker. Maybe, I don't know. Sorry, guys, I'm not a real estate agent. I just know what they're telling me. And then what blows my mind is the houses that we're referring to when I'm having these discussions with these agents, they're vacant. So I'm not understanding why can't an exception be made? So
That's from Al Vasquez. That's what Keller Williams.
Okay, so maybe find out why that's not allowed. Like, does it why can't you do an open house on a vacant property? That's a question I would like answered, and no one's been able to answer that for me.
That would be actually great. I mean, people would have to wait outside, be one at a time. Obviously, everything come to the property should be, acceptable. Al's nuts. He actually sent me a picture today. He's trying to ramp up his marketing and really getting out there, and he's doing it. He's making stuff happen. So obviously we're proud of him.
Yeah, he just I think he just said vacant, yes, but what kind of open house is that? That's all depending on the broker.
Yeah, but it's one at a time. It's better than nothing, right?
Who's gonna want to stay outside? Well, it's not cold anymore, so maybe.
Could you imagine pulling up to an open house and having 45 cars out front? And you gotta wait. It's like going into the grocery store. You gotta wait online.
I don't know if I would do. I don't know if I would do that. I'll be honest with you.
Here's what I'm thinking. I want to do a big push. I would love to get a sanitizing company in with a strip club, with a bar, and they could pick a row of dancers, and they have to wait in the parking lot. It's like you come in one at a time. You have a couple of drinks, drink. It's like building up hype. That's where my brain went right now. That's not good. So nobody else has any other questions. Oh, it's here it goes.
Why is
It's
Mr.
all dependent on the broker.
Yeah.
Well, listen, in that situation, if it's dependent on the broker, what should it matter? If the broker says, "Hey, it's up to you," then do it. Talk to the client, see what the client says.
I mean, honestly, I'm curious to know how much trouble would an agent really get if they do that one. Like if they do. Oh,
They do.
no, sorry. Somebody just tried joining there it is. Um, I'm just wondering what would happen if they did show the property, did do the open house, without going against those brokers' wishes. What happens? I'm just curious.
That would be amazing if somebody could answer that question. So, guys, who has questions, obviously come on here. The next topic that we have tonight that I want to cover is forbearance and a deferment. And what is the what's the difference between a forbearance and what's the difference between forbearance and deferment? So, Leah, let's talk about the emails that we're getting with people's information, and it clearly shows
The balloon payment.
first payment, second payment, balloon payment, talks about the time frame and the actual dollar amount. So let's cover forbearance first and why a forbearance might not be a bad thing to be in if you're in a situation where you're a commission-based business.
That's a tricky question, and here's the reason why. Because it all depends on if that 1099 or that small business decided to apply for the SBA payment protection program or paycheck protection program. So, in all honesty, the forbearance plans right now, the banks are actually, if a bank is sending you a forbearance plan where it's giving you a end game responsibility, they're actually in violation of what the Fed advised to the servicers. There shouldn't be a plan in place. Now, what they are supposed to tell you is that the payments in a traditional forbearance would be due at the end of the forbearance period. However, they're supposed to be coupling that with, but we'll review you for options and then kind of go over the breadth of what those options will be available per your servicer, per your investor. But some banks aren't doing that. Some banks are just telling you, here's a forbearance, kind of like what Matt just showed you, and you do everything at the end of that period. Some are telling you verbally, but not in writing, that they're going to defer your payment to the back of the mortgage. And then some are actually telling you, so here's your forbearance, here's what you would technically owe, but we're going to automatically place you into a loss mitigation program to see if we can modify a payment or qualify you for a repay plan. So again, it just varies. So the hodgepodge of what's going on.
Well, what about the people that really truly don't understand the difference between the forbearance and the deferment? So if somebody is obviously in a deferment, explain to them really what it means to them so they understand. And really, we only know of one credit union right now that's doing that, correct?
Right, just ViStar. ViStar is the only one that's doing an actual deferment plan, but they won't extend it past 90 days. So, a forbearance truly is it's a payment suspension for however long. The banks are not allowed to forbear any longer than 6 months at a time, and that is regulation. I know there are people out there that go, "Oh, I've been forbeared for a year." Bullshit. Absolute. And if your bank is doing that to you, shame on them. But the forbearance period is a suspension. Once that suspension period is done, the month thereafter of the suspension period, the payments become due in full. And at that point, your bank is technically expecting you to be able to just cut that check. But realistically, in the situation that we're in, most people won't be able to do that. Some people may be able to do that if they qualify for their unemployment and they are getting the back pay, plus if they qualify for their unemployment, plus the $600 a week, which we still don't really know how long that's going to last for. So it kind of, it varies, right? Forbearances are meant to be temporary, and they're actually meant to help you break out your payments, not to skip them entirely. So, for example, we're a small business, and if we weren't able to continue with our business, so like we weren't having closings and we weren't paid our fee and whatnot, and I was short a paycheck, then I would probably not do the forbearance period, or I probably would do the forbearance period because I'm a smart kid and I got savings. But then I would ask to try and break those payments up, because while you're in a forbearance period, you can make payments and then it drops into a suspense account. And then once a full payment's received, it drops into your bucket. The benefit during the forbearance period for COVID-19's disaster plan is that you won't ever be charged a late fee. You won't have negative credit reporting. It reports as paid as normal. However, again, it's more of a Band-Aid, and it's kind of a cushion. It's not supposed to be a savior's plan, if that makes sense.
Actually, somebody just mentioned on one of the other websites, Courtney Hawkins is saying, right, I have a former client who said at the end of 90 days, she has to pay the full amount. So she's not doing it.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of people that aren't doing it. Or they agree to it, and then they get the little piece of paper that tells them exactly what you have in your hand, and they're calling the bank and they're like, forget this, I want to make my payments.
Right.
Yeah.
We're in a tight situation, Leah, because people can't work. And if people have to get back on track to make their payments on their mortgage, and they only have a certain period of time, and let's say, what happens if they say, no, we're not going to do anything? Here's the burning question, Lee, that everybody keeps asking me. As of right now, the answer is no. Can you explain to them the difference between 2008 and COVID-19?
No.
Meaning what happened in 2008? We all know.
Well, yes, actually I can. Yes. The difference between 2008 and now is the source. So 2008, it's predatory lending, right? People were pencil scratching, and people that were purchasing homes probably really shouldn't have been qualified to even rent a property. Versus now, where it is a pandemic or a disaster, and the banks are offering this bailout, and right, it's not even a bailout, with no understanding of what happens at the back end, with no guarantee other than, I guarantee not to tell you that you're going to be negative credit, or you're not going to have negative credit for the months you don't pay, and I'm not going to charge you a $15 late fee or a $35 late fee.
Correct. That was something actually that somebody actually talked about the other day in one of the lives, and I brought it to your attention, and you were like, "What the f?" Where they were saying that if you do the forbearance, you're not going to be able to refinance or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So what would you say to some of these people that are out there that actually have access to the same stuff that we have, because the bankers are giving it to us because they want us to obviously be knowledgeable and push the right information? What would you say to somebody who's out there who's doing these lives that's not giving the correct information?
Honestly, just what does Dan say? Trust and verify.
Yeah.
You got to verify. You got to see where your sources are getting their sources from. I am a stickler for quoting policy and procedure straight from the horse's mouth. I actually had someone challenge me in private, telling me that the information I was giving was fraudulent. And then I said, really? Okay, well, here's a mortgagee letter that you're misinterpreting in layman's terms from HUD. And all of a sudden I got blocked. I'm like, how about that? Okay, cool. Problem. One less person I need to worry about. But at the same time, one more person I need to worry about, because there's so many of these like jokers that are going out and telling people the wrong thing. I mean, it went from,
and what they're doing is they're really scaring shit out of people on that.
Right. Like when we first started, we were telling people, don't, if you're going to do the forbearance, think smart, do smart. This is not a free ride. Everybody's telling us that we were causing panic. And then all of a sudden, when everybody started getting their letters, seeing that we weren't kidding, oh, you guys are right. Shit. Because honestly, look between the fine line. Go look up the definition. And go back to the question I didn't get to finish answering was difference between a forbearance and deferment. A forbearance is a pause, but a deferment is a deferred payment. It goes to the back of your loan. However, in a mortgage world, mind you guys, I know that car loans are doing deferments. I know personally that car loans are doing deferments because I actually looked into it for my own mortgage, not mortgage, but my own car loan with Ally Financial and with Capital One for both my vehicles. And sure enough, they're like, yeah, we'll defer 4 months and it'll go to the back of your loan and then you'll be due. So we're going to extend it. However, we're going to charge you interest and we're still going to report you. Okay, cool. Not going to do that on my payments, but
you just raised a really good point, because the government is saying if you're late, they're basically saying that they're supposed to be putting a pause on it.
For mortgages.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for mortgages.
And that's where the information is getting distorted out on social media and people giving improper information. So guys, we're giving out some serious golden nuggets tonight. Please share this. If you're watching this, we got a bunch of people on right now. Just hit the share button. Just hit share now. You don't have to say watch these guys, whatever. This is important information we're giving. We don't get paid to do this. We're doing this because people are absolutely panicked.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what's going to happen. So, Leah, somebody has a mortgage. They do a forbearance. They go to 90. Yeah, give an example. This person who reached out to me is in Bergen County.
Mm-hmm.
And they swore to me this was a deferment. And I said, you sure?
Yeah.
I said, trust and verify. You got to verify the information you're getting. And they sent it to me in an email. And they were like, oh, my God. So they're making the payment because they're panicked that what happened, because they've already done a modification. And that's what the government isn't talking about. What if you've already done a modification on your property?
Yeah. So
You don't qualify. Let's talk about that.
There's two negotiators that I've become friendly with. One is with Loan Care and one's with Rushmore. There's another one at Carrington that I hate. No, I'm kidding. I don't hate him. He's a good guy. The two guys from Loan Care and Rushmore, kind of had a discussion with them, just kind of pick their brain to see what they would say. And they're like, what's going to happen is point blank, we're going to deny them for the mod. They're not going to be able to afford to repay, especially if they're unemployed. We could put them on unemployment forbearance, which everybody knows unemployment forbearances are god awful because they're just exactly what it is. You're just pushing off the inevitable for a year. Mm-hmm. And they're going to wind up going into foreclosure once the moratorium stops or our company gets pulled. And so then that kind of made me kind of do some research, and banks are not stopping the foreclosure process per se. Everyone is still revving up for the foreclosure process. Everyone's still revving up for the repossession process. Everybody's still revving up. They're waiting for those courts to open so they can just push it through. Because at the end of the day, the banks still are a business and they still have to make money. Now, recently, someone posted, "Oh, the banks are getting bailed out, and it's going to pass down to the homeowners and the car owner." No, it's not. The banks are being forced to pay an insurance premium to their investors for 3 to 4 months worth of servicing fees they have to pay in advance to cover what's going on, so that the investor gets paid, the middleman gets screwed. And then that makes you wonder, and I think somebody, and I can't see who it is because it just says Facebook user, I apologize. Yeah, your property taxes insurance, if you're escrowed, the bank will pay it, but then your account's going to have what's called a corporate advancement, where you're going to have a shortage because you're not making your mortgage payment, which isn't going into your escrow pit, which isn't going to be, it's a bad domino effect.
So, hold on, let's talk about, let's not even skate by that. So if the mortgage payment is $3,000 a month,
mm-hmm.
and now they're doing the advances on it,
mm-hmm.
and you didn't pay for 4 months,
mm-hmm.
and let's say your insurance each month is $100,
mm-hmm.
and your taxes are $400, now we're talking about an additional fee of $2,000 maybe.
Right.
Which
So yeah, so I'll explain it using my mortgage. Okay. So for you guys getting up in arms, yes, my mortgage payment is less than $1,000 a month. I pay $975 a month for my mortgage. I also live in Missouri. So my property taxes are a little pricey. That being said, so we pay of the 975, 475 of it goes to my mortgage. 500 of it goes to my taxes and insurance. I'm an FHA loan. If I go into the forbearance plan that's offered to me from my investor and my servicer, who is Penny Mac, I would obviously not be paying at 975, but Penny Mac will draw 500 from my account every month. So at the end of my forbearance period, if I'm granted the 3 months, it is going to be $1,500. So for that $1,500, let's say at the end of the period, I can pay it back or I get a mod and I can do it. What happens to that escrow shortage? Guess what, folks? It's going to get added to your mortgage payment because it has to get paid back. And for an FHA loan, it has to be paid back within a year of the original draw. So your payment is going to increase. Even if the mod keeps you the same or it increases you or what have you, it's going to increase more for that shortage because they have to compensate. And some banks, if you're a conventional mortgage or you're Fannie and Freddie, they actually want you to pay a certain percentage of that escrow shortage down and then doing a repay on the rest of it. It's going to be kind of ugly if you have to go through corporate advancement. Hopefully nobody does, but I'm sure there will be.
So the people that are out there that are watching this, and I hope they're sharing it because this is really good information. I tell people all the time, when you're calling into the bank, make sure you find out who you're speaking with. Write it down.
Yep.
Get their ID. Get the department that they're in. Because you might be thinking you're speaking with the right department. You could be calling into customer service. And a lot of times, you also have to remember, guys, right now, because they're so short-staffed at the bank, it's bouncing around. So you might be thinking you're calling loss mitigation, and you're calling collection or customer service, and you're asking questions of people. They have no idea what the answer is. Verify the department that you're calling in when you're speaking to make sure you're calling the right department. Get phone numbers, get floor supervisor names. When you call in, this is huge. Leah says this, well, she says it to me all the time. When you guys call in, you got the choice. Hit 1, record. Hit 2 to make sure, if your call not to be recorded. You want the call recorded. All the time, you've got to answer up. Now, let's talk about the fact that these people are not trained properly for the COVID-19. And let's talk about some of the fines that these banks are actually going to get by giving improper information based on our sources from the inside. Now, they're not getting it right now. They're going to be getting it in the third and fourth quarter. What are we hearing about that?
Okay, so if a customer service representative advises a homeowner that they will have their payment deferred, it's an automatic $15,000 fine per phone call per day, or it's per phone call per account that file is told to. So if you figure you have one customer service rep who isn't fully really educated on the process and is telling a homeowner this information, and in any given day with a high call queue, they're taking somewhere between 150 to 200 calls. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's one. Another one is if they provide a payment plan option without the understanding that this is just an idea, rather than this is saying that it's actually what you have to do and not that it's a possibility, not having that verbiage of we can help you for options after the fact, that this, there's specific wording that's necessary. That too gets, I think it's like a $8,500 and $9,500 fine for every letter for every homeowner that goes out. And a lot of these letters are preformed. So, and it kind of makes you wonder. So if they did these disaster forbearances, and this is me coming from the bank, there's a long process that goes into for a bank to create a letter for a loss submit option. There's a lot of verbiage that has to get taken into place. There's a lot of laws that have to get taken. Like you have to have a bankruptcy letter. You have to have a SACRA letter. You have to sorry, I'm going to do jargon. I apologize. SACRA is the Soldiers and Sailors Act. It's a military protection. There's so many different. There's like a bankruptcy reaffirmed, bankruptcy non-reaffirmed, Chapter 13 bankruptcy, Chapter 7, all these different letters that have to have a specific verbiage to abide by certain federal guidelines. So, no one stopped to say, wait a minute, they're handing out these forbearances just if you say the words, I will experience job loss or income loss due to COVID-19. How are they generating a letter that fast? Well, they're sending you generic forbearance letters, which they're not supposed to be doing, which some banks have stopped. They've stopped sending out those letters saying, oh, sorry. And then they have to send an apology letter, recalling the letter they sent you, just saying, we apologize, we sent you a generic form letter. It actually doesn't have their proper disclosures. So we'll be reaching out to you with an updated letter by this date. And then now they've been placed in a 30-day period where they have to create a specific letter for the disaster plan, because this is a different disaster plan. Most disaster plans, like for the properties that are located in like hurricane or earthquake or tornado areas, they have disaster forbearance plans and mod programs, but it doesn't waive negative credit reporting. It just waives late fees. So there's a lot involved. The another one that's an issue right now is when a servicer tells you that they do not participate in a program. Now, it also depends on your mortgage type.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a conventional private in a federal credit union, there's one here in the Midwest called the bank is FCB, unfortunately, and the other one is Scott Credit Union. And I have no mind saying this. These two banks are not offering any options. My cousin actually called me this weekend. We were talking about it because she used to work at the bank with us, and then she left after a year. And she's just like, "Hey, I have a question. You knew about this more than I did because you were there longer. Why are they not participating?" I'm like, "What kind of loan do you have?" And she's like, "Oh, it's an asset loan. It's a bank and private." Okay, cool. Well, who's the actual investor? And she gave me some name, and unfortunately, it was a Lodge Series.
Mm-hmm.
And Lodge Series 2 isn't participating in any of this. There's no bailout program. So you have to make your mortgage payment or you lose your home. So it all depends. Now, if you have a Fannie, Freddie, or an FHA loan, those are the three loans I can honestly tell you. They have the moratorium in place. They have the FB disaster plan in place. There should be no reason why your servicer tells you no. Now, that being said, there's a caveat to that. You must be less than 30 days due in order to qualify for the disaster forbearance. If you try coming in and doing this situation where you're 9 months due, forget about it. It's not going to happen.
That's what we're having issues with right now, because there are people like, hold up, I haven't paid my mortgage in 7 months. I qualify for the disaster relief, with the forbearance and everything. How? So it's like people are getting such wrong information, and that is real. This is the purpose of us doing this. So, going forward, we're obviously going to have more structure to it. We're going to have, guests coming on, and I've got people that want to come on. We're lining them up. We got some serious power players that are going to be coming on here.
Right.
We've got Dave Hansel from Alpha Funding, and he's going to answer the hard questions that nobody wants to talk about with hard money. So I commend him for that. We've got Jessica Rojas from Realty Executives. This woman's a powerhouse. She's on phone calls every single day, training people all over the country. She's going to give us her information. How about this name, Kathy Haddad?
Oh, really? I haven't heard that name in a while.
That woman is a savage in the mortgage industry.
Yeah, man.
She's in the top 1% nationwide writing mortgages. She's going to be coming on with Christopher Chin.
Okay, cool.
And Chris is going to be giving us his observation on the real estate market. This guy's only been in the industry for 4 years. He's crushing it. He has 3 buyer's agents. So, I mean, we have a lineup that we're working on. Next week we've got people coming on during the day. I'm not, I'm not. Wait till you see the post that I post. This woman was a powerhouse in the real estate industry. She lost everything in 2008. She's going to be coming on. She's going to talk about how she, basically had a blip in 2017 and she just keep going. So technology is out there for people to use. So people have to use it. So guys, if right now you got to get a job online, I don't care what it is, to start or keep paying your mortgage, please do it. Please, please, please. In 2008, when I got into this industry, people thought I was out of my mind. They're like, first of all, who the hell are you? And what the hell is a short sale? By 2007, I was doing classes. 2007, 2008, I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. And I went on my own. And I was very fortunate. I did a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And in 2013 or 2012?
12.
2012, I was lucky enough to steal Leah away from working from one of the big banks to come work. I joke around and say the dark side. People joke around and say, no, the bank is the dark side. But the truth of the matter is we're in business to make money, guys. So if you think as of right now, there is nothing in place. So you can, this is great. We have people that have a ton of money. I'm not paying my mortgage right now. Why?
I know.
What about the renters that are out there? My mayor said I don't have to pay my rent, so I don't pay it. Like, that's just ridiculous. Guys, you don't realize that, you're not paying it, but the landlords aren't stupid because some of them that are really smart that I'm talking to, and I'm going to bring these guys on. Yeah, they're emailing their tenants and saying, guys, I'm not taking any part of the forbearance. I'm not getting any SBA money. So if you could pay your mortgage, your rent, and I can actually prove that during the time you could have paid it and you didn't pay it, I'm going to start the eviction process.
Yeah.
It's very smart. So I know people joke around like Carmelo Oliveri, Section 8 never late, but not everybody has Section 8 clients. So you guys better be smart out there. And if you're a tenant and you're not paying, you better explain to your landlord why you're not paying. This isn't a free ride.
Yeah, so Al just posted something and I really appreciate Al. Guys, I know there's a lot of people that in the service industry and a couple other places that are considered non-essential right now, especially in New York and New Jersey, which I'm really heartfully sorry. My family is actually in New Orleans. So they are in a similar situation. It's considered a hot spot. So everything is completely shut down, way of life. I mean, we were there. We went to go visit for my birthday, and it was kind of hard for me because on my birthday, I got to spend it with my sisters, my mom, my grandmother, my kids, my husband, we all got to hang out. But I don't know when's the next time I'm going to be able to see them. My grandmother's 91 years old. So, and my sister is a healthcare provider, and my youngest sister is an engineer. She's a civil engineer. So one is helping build plan all the building of all the temporary hospitals, and the other one is actually in the frontline testing. So it's cool, but it's scary because, I call my grandmother and she's depressed because she's used to seeing people in and out the house, and my mom hasn't seen anybody. But that being said, places like Amazon, Walmart, Sam's, these places need people. Even if it's temporary, they're willing to pay you full benefits from day one if you don't have benefits to get the help, especially Amazon. Amazon, he is hiring like bananas because he needs the help because the pantry, he can't get the orders out fast enough. And that's just for the essentials and the pantries. And then he's got to go back and backfill all of the non-essential things that are taking 2 to 3 weeks to get because they're not a priority shipment item. So there is work to do. There is work from home to do. The banks are hiring. They're hiring customer service reps to pick up the phone so that you can direct people to the right departments, or they're alleviating some of these departments and getting like on the spot training. Granted, may not be the best training, but it's training to help alleviate the situation at hand. So there are jobs out there, guys. There's temporary jobs. I'm not saying you have to go and work for the big bad, Fortune 500 company or, the man or whatever, however you want to say it. Some of you liberals, I get it. But you want to pay your bills, how you do it, go get a job. I mean, when I was out of a job, I bartended. Unfortunately, bartenders can't work now. So I would totally hire, someone to come work for me at the furniture store, come work for me for RRG. Well, actually, not hiring RRG, guys. No, not right now. So I know I said that I'm going to get bombed, but like right now we're trying to keep our heads afloat with all the like we are. I was actually kidding around with Jeremiah Dalton's transaction coordinator, Connie. She was saying, she's like, I thought we were going to be just sitting here painting our nails and eating bonbons. I'm like, yeah, chick, no, we're busy. She's like, so once the quarantine's over, does that mean we get to take a break? I'm like, probably not. Probably not. So, I mean, yeah, there's work. There's work out there, obviously. So definitely take advantage of it. There was something else I wanted to bring up, and I can't remember what it was now.
So anybody right now, obviously, if you have questions and you don't want to ask here and you have personal questions, because in the post it said if you're a homeowner and you're panicked, look, let me put it this way, we don't put people's names and addresses out on social media. We do talk about scenarios, about things that pop up. So for us, it's important because this is a great learning tool. Going forward, I want to make it very clear. We've got a bunch of people clicking and listening. Going forward, Short Sale 101 is where we're going to be doing these lives at night. So if you're not a part of Short Sale 101, you're not going to see these lives at night. So I would definitely join Short Sales 101. It's on Facebook. It's a group. You see me on stage. I think I got my hand in the air.
Yep.
And the purpose of doing that is like I don't need to just keep putting videos on my regular Facebook page. We're building out the private page because these are people that are serious. These are real vendors looking for opportunities, looking to learn, looking to find the craft to be able to move forward. Let me tell you something. In the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, there's going to be some serious action going on. And if you are a real estate agent and you're unsure of what to do, don't panic. Yes, we do have our boot camp scheduled for October, but because we've gotten a huge demand, we are working on a platform online where similar to what the boot camp's going to be. And I've already spoken with some of the vendors, and they're excited to do that as well. They just want to be able to help in any way, shape, or form that they can, which I appreciate, because in this time, guys, education is key. And if you're sitting home right now and you're panicked and you don't know what to do, Google it. But please verify and trust it. YouTube it. But again, when it comes to the forbearances, the deferments, the COVID-19s, the latest and the greatest, and the different programs that are out there, please, for the love of God, reach out to Real Estate Recovery Group. Obviously, you can reach out to Leah on private messenger on Facebook. You can reach out to me. Anybody who's doing business with us direct, they have our direct numbers. This is all about trying to help give back and show other people that there are people that are authorities in this industry. So if you see something on Facebook, point it out, guys. We're not going to call people out. And if you're giving information on Facebook, we're not going to say your name, and we're not going to tattletale on you and say naughty, naughty. But we are going to correct the information. That is the purpose of doing these things. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, going forward is going to be the regular time for the live streaming show. We're going to have guests on. We're going to have people popping in and out of the show, giving their input. One person that we're going to have on, who's probably going to end up being a regular, is going to be Gizzy Credit. Hashtag Gizzy Credit. Hashtag Gizzy Credit. Because he's got that catchy tune. Because he's inundated with people that are asking him the same questions. He understands the credit side, so that's going to be important. We're going to be bringing back Joe Lawrence. That's going to be talking about business credit. What about people that couldn't get unsecured lines, ESBA loans? Joe Lawrence is going to come back, and we're going to have a PowerPoint presentation. He's going to dive more in depth of working with stuff like that, and he's going to offer special pricing to people that come on that want to learn. So there's a method to the madness for Short Sale 101. And guys, I have been reached out. People have said to me, "Hey, I posted something on your page. You deleted it." Guys, if it's not related to distressed real estate and short sales and stuff like that, I really just don't want you promoting your properties on there. That's not a marketing promoting page. I've said it more than once to people. I'm desperately trying not to delete people because some people just don't learn and they keep doing it over and over again, or they spam these different things. So we might actually have to switch it to it's going to have to get approved first, Leah, before people can post stuff, which I really don't want to do it, but we might have to do that.
Okay.
Do you have anything that you want to add or in closing before we log off tonight? Anything of value to people?
So, well, in regards to the 101 group, there's been an influx of people that have been joining the group. I know that there's a glitch where if you invite a friend to join, that they don't get prompted with the 3 questions, which Tommy's working on fixing. But if you are coming to join a group and you don't answer the questions, I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to decline you. I have to protect the group. I've been seeing people from Botswana wanting to join the group.
Hey, listen,
And
some of them are really pretty.
some of them are, yeah. But unfortunately, I have to protect the group from spammers. I don't want any kind of any issues. So you have to look at it as a kind of like a CAPTCHA. I know a lot of people are concerned about the emails going in. That's been the biggest complaint. The emails mainly are for us to verify that you are a real person. So I've had some jokesters say no@no.com. So no, you're not coming in the group. You're not going to be spammed by us. You're not going to be put on any kind of unsolicited mailer or anything crazy like that. It's if I know that you're a member of the group, I have your email address. You need to reach me. I missed your Facebook message. Matt missed your Facebook message. We could shoot you an email from the help email and say, hey, here we are. Sorry, I missed your message. What can we do to help you? It's not for anything kind of any crazy. That's for the 101 group. For short sale side, as far as that's concerned, always go to the government websites to get your up-to-date information. Do not go based off what my friends, aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, girlfriend, neighbors across the street said. That's the
2008 is what
quickest way to get in trouble. So, and then again, as I've always stated, if you guys do apply for the forbearance, if you have clients that apply for the forbearance and they don't understand what they did and you want us to take a look at the paperwork, just reach out. We'll be happy to look, tell you what the next steps are needed. We're here.
Or if you have a client, if you're a real estate agent and the people are worried or whatever it is, guys, we're not charging for that. We're trying to offer help and education, showing people, that there's a force out there. There's somebody that actually knows what they're doing. And, we're doing it really out of the kindness of our heart. So take advantage of it while you can, because at the end, there's obviously going to be issues in this, and people are going to really figure out, wow, my bank didn't do the right thing. Wow, I was told something totally different. My real estate agent didn't know what they're talking about. Another way that you can follow us, and we're trying to build that up, is on YouTube. You can see on your screen. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I'm not a big Twitter guy. But the Short Sale 101 group is in the, I guess, your upper left-hand corner if you're looking. Definitely join that. Answer the 3 questions or you're not going to get into the group. Look, there's a bunch of people watching right now. Do us a favor. Show us some love and share this. Share this so people can see that there's a place that they can go and get the education. We're not trying to upsell you. We're trying to show you information. Are we going to be coming out with a course? Yes. Is it going to be free? Absolutely not. Because there's a lot of time and effort that we have to put into it. But we're going to give as much value as we can. And we're going to break everything down, guys. We're going to make it super, super easy for people right now that want to find out what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what's going to work with your client, what's not. Look, I tell people, put me in a hot seat all the time. My team laughs at me. I mean it. Put me in the hot seat. If you have somebody that's on the fence about doing a short sale, see what Real Estate Recovery Group is all about. We're not getting paid at your real estate commission. We're getting paid by the buyer, period. So, and that this isn't a pitch for Real Estate Recovery Group. This is all about education. But I want to make it clear because I know there's a lot of new people that came on, and I know that people had jumped on earlier today and started to get into the group. So I wanted to make that clear. So, Lee, do you have anything further to add at all?
No, I was just answering a question that we missed. So Sandra had sent a message earlier that said, why does Mr. Cooper is so hard with the verbiage language and the deed is not with their precise words, and it's the deed restriction. It's a required. So it has to be verbatim to whatever the investor requires. So I'm just responding to it real quick.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, so in any event, listen, we appreciate everybody coming on. We do have the daytime show still. It is going to be 12 o'clock every single day, Monday through Friday. Obviously, we're doing a lot of informational purpose for videos. If you have an idea and you want to reach out, private message me. Love to, have people on of interest. And we're going to start inviting, guest people just to pop on the show just to say hi. So that's going to be pretty interesting as well. Bring some characters on there. I'm even thinking about bringing my brother-in-law on right now because he's driving a tow truck part-time right now in California. And I think I should call his segment Angry Tow Truck Guy. Because
man, some of the repo stories, I can't, guys. I'm sorry.
He used to do repos. He actually pulled up to somebody the other day who safely nestled in his car, and then the guy basically shouted out the window with his mask and everything. He's like, "Hey, guy, there's a little thing going on right now called COVID-19. Not sure if you're aware of it." My brother-in-law's response is like, "Listen, there's two things we could do. You could roll up your window and I can help you, or you could roll up your window and I'm just going to leave. So you tell me what you want to do." And at the end of it, the guy did apologize because there is obviously some type of social distancing there. And it's a pain in the ass to work on somebody's car. The guy needed a spark plug and a battery. He didn't have to do it. He literally could have just told the guy somewhere and he could have paid a shitload of money unnecessarily. So there are people out there, but he has a horrible temper. And I think it would be funny to have him on here telling some of his stories. He's a character. But please share this, honestly. Leah, say share, Leah, say share.
Share.
Guys, at the end of the night of every video that I do,
I'm not doing the point.
You
because you always tell me I do it wrong. So
you did a great list. You will be fired.
Okay, cool, sweet.
No, you will not be fired. Nope.
Damn. Okay, I tried.
It's not a no until you get a restraining order, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. That's beautiful. I love it. Real Estate Recovery Group live streaming. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to share this because sharing is caring. Lee, hold on.
Guys.
Hold on one second.
Okay.